A surgeon's son had never walked in his life until the day a black nurse did the unthinkable. The pediatric wing of the hospital was usually a peaceful place. Too peaceful, the kind of silence that seeps into your chest and weighs you down. In room 214 the atmosphere remained still, only the soft hum of a monitor breaking the silence. A perfectly made bed stood against the wall, left untouched almost all morning. Sitting on the edge of the bed was Lucas Mitchell, a 3-year-old boy with golden blonde hair, fair skin, and eyes the color of a bright summer sky. He wore a matching red outfit, his little feet dangling in the air, never touching the ground. Lucas had never taken a step in his life. From birth, doctors had told his parents he would never walk. His father, Dr. Anthony Mitchell, was one of the hospital's most respected surgeons. Tall, with sharp features, black hair always perfectly styled, he had saved countless lives in the operating room, but for his own son, all his skill and knowledge were useless. Every exam, every procedure, every rehabilitation session ended the same way. No progress. Anthony had stopped saying when Lucas would walk and started saying if. Lucas's days consisted of routine checkups, short physical therapy sessions, and long hours spent watching the outside world through the window. He had become quiet, far too quiet for a child his age. That morning, Anthony had left to make his rounds, thinking his son was resting. But while the doctor walked the halls with his clipboard in hand, someone else decided that okay wasn't good enough. Amy, one of the pediatric nurses, had been caring for Lucas for a few weeks. In her 20s, she had brown skin, a gentle voice, and the kind of smile that instantly earned children's trust. She had noticed that Lucas only came alive during playtime, those rare moments when his mind was occupied by something other than what he couldn't do. Today, she had a new idea. She entered the room in light blue scrubs and crouched down to Lucas's level. "How's my little champion today?" she asked. Lucas shrugged. "I'm bored." "Well," she said with a mischievous smile, "what if we tried something fun?" He looked at her skeptically. "I can't, walk." Amy leaned closer. "Who said anything about walking?" "I'm talking about flying." That got his attention. "Flying?" He frowned. "Yes. You sit here, I lift you up, and we pretend you're a superhero." Lucas's eyes lit up a little. "Superheroes are strong?" "Exactly," Amy said, "and so are you." A minute later, Amy was lying on her back, knees bent. She carefully positioned Lucas, balancing his small body on the soles of her feet. Her hands held him gently at his sides. His legs, the ones that had never carried him, now rested against the nurse's shins, bearing some of his weight. At first, Lucas gripped her hands, his face tense. "It's okay," she said softly. "I've got you. You're safe," she said gently. Gradually, she began pushing with her legs, lifting him higher and higher into the air. Lucas let out a small cry, a mix of surprise and joy. "Look down," Amy encouraged. "See, you're flying." Suddenly laughter burst out, clear and bright. His arms relaxed, then spread wide. "I'm flying," he shouted. Amy smiled so widely she almost felt her cheeks hurt. "And you're holding yourself up. Can you feel it? In your legs?" He nodded, his voice sparkling with excitement. "Yes," she modified the game, making him lean forward then straighten up. Each movement engaged muscles that had been dormant for years. And because it was just a game, Lucas didn't think about effort or failure, but only about the joy he felt. In those moments, the sterile hospital room ceased to exist. There was no diagnosis, no medical file, no limitations. Just a little boy laughing, as if the world had just opened up before him. That's when the door clicked open. Amy didn't notice, too focused on keeping Lucas balanced. In the doorway stood Dr. Anthony Mitchell, frozen, eyes wide. He had seen his son supported before, but never like this, never using his own legs, never with such a smile. For the first time in years, Anthony felt something he had been too afraid to feel. Hope. For a moment his mind went blank, as if the world had shrunk to just the scene before him, his son. His little boy, who had never stood up, never taken a step, was there, high above the ground, balanced on someone else's feet. His legs active, laughter echoing against the hospital walls. "Lucas," Anthony whispered almost under his breath. The little one turned his head, eyes bright. "Dad, look, I'm flying." Anthony's chest tightened. "I see you, buddy, I see you." Amy finally turned her head, realizing they had an audience. She smiled, not embarrassed, but proud. "Dr. Mitchell," she greeted him while maintaining Lucas. "I hope you don't mind me borrowing him for a bit." Anthony entered the room, his gaze fixed on Lucas's legs. "What are you doing?" "Muscle strengthening," Amy replied simply, her voice steady. "But we disguise it as play. He doesn't think about what he can't do, he just moves." Lucas laughed again, leaning forward as Amy guided him. His legs trembled slightly, but held firm. "He's supporting himself," Anthony murmured, almost to himself. "Yes," Amy confirmed, adjusting her position to keep him stable. "The muscles are there, they've just never been engaged in a way that made him believe they could. I've tried everything, surgery, rehabilitation, specialists in 3 different countries." Amy looked up at him. "And they all told you what he couldn't do, didn't they?" Anthony didn't answer. He didn't need to. The truth was written in his eyes. "Sometimes," Amy continued, "you have to stop telling a child what's impossible and show them what's possible, even if it's just for a few seconds at a time." She slowly lowered her legs, bringing Lucas back to her stomach before lifting him again, even higher. This time Lucas let out a cry of joy, fists pumping the air. "Higher, Amy, higher!" Anthony couldn't help but smile, even though tears burned his eyes. "You like that, buddy?" "I love it," Lucas shouted. Amy's voice became softer. "Want to try something even bigger?" She gently tilted him forward until his feet touched the ground, just enough so his weight was partially supported by her hands. "Okay, now push up on your toes. Stand up straight for me." Lucas gritted his teeth, his little face scrunching with concentration. His legs trembled, then, miraculously, straightened. For 3 heartbeats he stood upright, unsupported. His father's eyes widened in disbelief. Then he collapsed into Amy's arms, laughing. "I did it." Anthony brought his hands to his mouth. It wasn't just the achievement, it was Lucas's expression. Unshakable pride. Amy looked up at Anthony. "He's ready to try, every day, if you let me work with him." Anthony crossed the room in 3 steps and knelt beside them. "You did something I thought was impossible. You gave me back my son's future." Amy shook her head. "I didn't give him anything. I just helped him see what was already there." Anthony pulled Lucas into his arms, holding him close. The little one still smelled like baby shampoo and hospital sheets. "I'm so proud of you," he whispered. Lucas beamed. "Tomorrow, can we fly again?" Anthony glanced at Amy, who smiled warmly at him. "We'll fly every day, until you're ready to run." Amy and Lucas worked together every day. The flying game became a ritual that gradually built his strength and balance. Anthony made sure to be present each time, cheering from the sidelines. And then, one afternoon, months later, Lucas let go of Amy's hands and took 3 hesitant steps toward his father. Anthony lifted him high, laughing through his tears, while Amy applauded behind them. It wasn't a miracle in the medical sense. It was patience, faith, and love. And Anthony knew he would spend the rest of his life grateful to the nurse who had refused to see his son as a broken child and had instead seen a little boy capable of flying. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to hit like and subscribe to Stories That Matter for more moving, dramatic, and unexpected tales. And tell us in the comments where in the world you're watching from. We love hearing from you. Until then, stay kind, stay curious, and